documentary filmmaker for PrimeMashFilms.com, and I represent hundreds of thousands of victims of abuse, of institutional abuse and institutional paedophile rings that have been and are still operating in this country now.
What's your name again, sir?
Bill Maloney.
Bill Maloney. So what are you alleging?
I'm alleging, let's wait for this. I am alleging that Max Clifford was sending children, boys and girls from the age of 13 to Peter Stringfellows clubs. To Peter Stringfellows Club, where they were supplied with cocaine, alcohol, and if necessary, Viagra. Because I know this because a guy called Ben Fellows, who was a child actor, has come forward. Ben Fellows, his life is now under threat and he has had to leave this country. Ben Fellows has done many interviews with the national press and with detectives from the Metropolitan Police Squad. And his life is under threat and the police are not protecting Ben Fellows. And if anything happens to Ben Fellows, it is due to the establishment of this country. Now, can I just say this? We're talking about paedophilia, blackmailing paedophiles, high-profile paedophiles and controlling world politics. That is how this country has got. We have got to deal with this now. Now is the time to deal with it.
When are you saying these things happen?
When am I saying what things happen?
Like the allegations against Max Clifford and Peter Stringfellow. What era?
Listen, right from the 60s up, people don't realise how powerful Max Clifford is. Max Clifford represented people like Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra. Max Clifford's been around a very, very long time.
And Ben Fellows, what was...
Google Ben Fellows.
Don't get Ken Clark, Phil.
Now, listen, let me just tell you, right? Ben Fellows, the Cook Report, done a film, right, with Ben Fellows.
I know he is, yeah.
Now, right, you know who he is, but the people don't. Now, Ben Fellows, when he was involved in the Cook Report, they wired him up, and they wired a briefcase up. He went into Parliament. What's the name of the guy?
Ken Clark.
And then Kenneth Clark grabbed his genitalia and held it. The Cook Report had the footage of this film that was made. That footage then went to David Cameron. David Cameron got rid and buried the footage of Ben Fellows being abused by Kenneth Clark.
That guy.
That's Ben Fellows. Now Kenneth, so you know, we're talking about
where
the politician.
is he? Why is he not here today?
Well, I can get in touch with Ben Fellows. If you get in touch with me, we'll get you interviews with Ben Fellows.
What's the best number to get you?
There is also a guy called Charlie Nash who Max Clifford gave £6,000. Now, when Jonathan King was arrested, Max Clifford was good friends with Jonathan King, but Jonathan King had sent Simon Cowell to Max Clifford. Now, Max Clifford then fell out with Jonathan King. So Jonathan King went to prison. Max Clifford started trawling for victims so that he could get their stories into the national press.
Bill, sorry to interrupt. Can you give me a number where I can get hold of you?
Not while all this is running, I'm not going to, am I? Because I might as well give my phone number to the world then, and you're a journalist, so you should know that. So, you know, we're talking about a cover-up and a massive scale here, okay? So you lot sort it out. You know what's going on.
Obviously, he's not being charged with.
Listen, let me just tell you something, right? Now, I will in a minute. Jimmy Savile, right? Jimmy Savile wrote books Jimmy Savile wrote books that were supposed to protect children from paedophiles. That was his cover later on down the line. So he could say, I wrote books. I had books written to protect children from paedophilia. Max Clifford, when Jonathan King got arrested, Max Clifford started trawling for victims and getting their papers, their stories in the papers, into like the news of the world. Yeah, so now he can say, what are you talking about? I help victims. These are very, very clever people. These are not fools, and they were sorting out their alibis for later on down the line.
Why are you involved in this?
Because myself and my 7 siblings, we are victims of institutional paedophile rings that have been operating in this country. We were all we were all abused
In care homes?
in care homes, in children's homes, in young offenders institutions, adoption, etc. I have a sister who was raped at the age of 11 and we now know had her human papilloma virus. She had cervical cancer at the age of 11, my sister.
Do you have any particular evidence yourself against Max Clifford?
There's witnesses. We're talking about what the term they like to use is historical abuse.
Yes.
You tell me where the evidence is, madam. But we do have the evidence that Max Clifford was sending children to parties at Peter Stringfellows. Now, arrest me. Let them, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the police. Whoever wants to come and get me, come and get me. But they won't, because we have the moral higher ground here. We are victims and we know who raped us.
Why are you after Max Clifford particularly?
Have you not been listening? You're a journalist. Max Clifford is aware of a massive paedophile ring that has been operating in this country for a long time. And we're talking about politicians and we're talking about the entertainment industry. And they have always gelled so well.
Is it tied up with the Elm House? And all
It
that
is
kind of
tied
stuff?
up with Elm House as well. And I've been working with a guy called Chris Fay.
Yes.
Chris Fay, when Carol Kazia, when she allegedly killed herself, which she never killed herself, this guy, Chris Fay, who was a councillor for Greenwich Council, 3 bullets came through his window. It took the police 1 hour to get there. It's never been divulged. You can get in touch with me.
You referred to evidence about Max Clifford.
Yes, that's what we want.
Peter
Yes.
Stringfellows.
Yes.
What is that
What is
evidence
it?
as far as you're concerned?
That evidence is Ben Fellows. Now, Ben Fellows has said to me that he is willing to take a lie detector test on his evidence. And let's see if Max Clifford will take a lie detector. No, let me stay with this. Let's see if Max Clifford will take a lie detector test. Because on the Jeremy Kyle show, or in this country and other countries, families are torn to shreds on the evidence of lie detector tests. The polygraph test is 98% accurate. Why won't they let us use it in a court of law as evidence?
Tell us, what was Ben Fellows so chaotic?
Ben Fellows will tell you his
I
story.
just need to know, because it's been so chaotic,
Yes.
who you are, what your connection
I've
is
just
to
done
this.
it.
I know, come on, we can do it to our camera, because it's been so chaotic.
Who are you?
Sky News.
You're Sky News.
Yes.
You have just edited out what we were shouting at Max Clifford. I just got a phone call from my producer saying that Sky News has just edited out what we was asking.
Well,
Go away from me.
legally,
Sky
you have to be very
News,
careful.
fuck off Sky News. Now we're getting the word out properly. We've done a good job today. It's all over. Finito. Max Clifford is fucked. Max, you're a fucking nonce, and I've gotcha.
What was that again, Bill?
I'm not saying it all again.
Oh, go on.
Stay.
This country, you gotta make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power.